Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and Dragonflight draws ever closer, with Evokers slated to come out in roughly 2 weeks, followed by the release of the next World of Warcraft expansion in less than a month from now. Some players have already started making preparations, clearing the bags, stocking up on consumables, and trying to decide which class they'll play as a main or an alt going forward. Dragonflight is intended to be an alt-friendly expansion. Now, we've heard those words before with Shadowlands, but Dragonflight is missing the overbearing power systems of Covenants and Legendaries, and allows for more account-wide progression of renown and writing systems from the get-go. Safe to say that I plan on playing many alts in Dragonflight. There's just too many good playstyles that I have been able to enjoy during my time on the beta, and I would want to continue exploring even more going forward. I keep getting questions from many of you asking me which class should you play in Dragonflight. Most of us want to play something strong, potentially viable, but more importantly, a fun playstyle that you will enjoy when diving into the next expansion. And while it's hard to say which class is ultimately going to be the strongest, since none of the tuning numbers are final yet, I can go over every playstyle that I have enjoyed the most and would like to continue playing as a potential main or an alt from the Dragonflight beta. In case my list of classes and thought process helps any of you make up your mind about which class you may play going forward. But right before that, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you're looking to get regular class and content updates for all the future and upcoming Dragonflight pre-patch and beta builds. In no particular order, the first spec I wanted to highlight is the Feral Druid, which has gone through a ton of quality of life improvements heading into Dragonflight. The Challenger revamp has benefited the Feral Druid greatly, improving their AoE output, making it more enjoyable and competitive in Mythic Plus dungeons. Better resource generation, creating a much smoother gameplay experience. Group utility with Heart of the Wild buff, disorients, knocks, typhoons, and the healer buff of Inner Weight, which allows these druids to bring summon to groups outside of their damage capabilities. Recently, we've seen Blizzard begin to make large tuning changes, with some of the stronger pre-patch classes already losing some of their overall output. So far, Feral Druids have been able to benefit from favorable tuning, and hopefully they'll continue to do so. Cat Druids don't often get favorable treatment at endgame groups outside of PvP, and it would be refreshing seeing Feral Druids being brought to dungeons and raids heading into Dragonflight. Unholy has seen some of the most flavorful changes heading into the beta. Known for summoning hordes of undead armies, Unholy Death Knights can amplify their effectiveness, empowering them through dark transformation as the army rips all foes to shreds. Unholy can also tap into their diseases, embracing a strong damage over time playstyle focused on wanting enemies from afar. But this powerful warrior can also empower themselves instead of relying on plagues and minions, becoming an indomitable warrior. Being able to mix and match all of these playstyles together is incredibly satisfying when playing Death Knights, as you adjust your talent build to suit all types of combat situations. Blood Death Knight is another fantastic spec focused on leeching health from nearby foes, and I always found this self-healing tank playstyle reliable when it comes to endgame content. I love the extensive control kit that the class of mage has developed over its time in the Dragonflight beta, combining some of the strongest spec-specific abilities into the class tree. Spells like Fire Breath to disorient all targets, and knocking them back with a Fiery Blast. Polymorph in large groups of enemies, revert back to your last blink location for mobility, and diving into improved invisibility, removing yourself from sight while also improving your defensive capabilities. Stopping enemies in the tracks with Frosty Novas and Modified Cone of Cold. This new control kit puts all three specs of mage at a more even playing field, which will hopefully improve the endgame viability of all three playstyles going forward. Fire mages are not capable of tapping into their mastery, building up a powerful flame and then spreading it like wildfire. Frost gains even more control over their playstyle, capable of determining when and if their abilities shatter, allowing for better player agency. But out of all those three playstyles, I found myself exploring Arcane Mage the most. A powerful caster capable of discharging their mana, barraging the primary target, and cleaving all caught in the point of impact. I love the mobility you gain with double arcane orbs for instant casting, and the readiness at which you can generate your combat resources, which overall improves Arcane's performance. Then we have the class of Warlock, which becomes a powerful juggernaut of defense when it comes to caster classes in Dragonflight, getting access to a myriad of defensive abilities capable of surviving just about every dungeon or raid encounter. These unyielding summoners have gained a lot of flavor and variety in Dragonflight, and I can't wait to explore some of the depths of the demonology gameplay. These Legion commanders can empower their imps to become more effective, turning dreadhounds into vicious beasts, focusing on the magic you weave as a ranged caster, or promote your Felguard to the front lines and unleash their fury on the battlefield while calling upon powerful pit lords to break your enemy's defenses. Then we have the Spec of Affliction, which prefers to rot the victims over time. In pre-patch, we have seen the power that Affliction Warlocks can bring into dungeons with talents that help improve their AoE capabilities. At higher levels, Affliction can pick up even more talent points, which can greatly support your devious corruptions, creating a maintenance-focused playstyle where damage over time effects take priority above all, devouring your foes in periodic shadow damage. And I'm excited to see if Affliction has the capacity to fully embrace this damage over time playstyle heading forward. Then we have the spec of Shadow Priest, which I've enjoyed as of recently in pre-patch. Overall, I like the priest's choices between the Legion-inspired Void Eruption and the Dark Ascension playstyle. The Void focused on maintaining the empowered state for as long as possible, while Ascension favors the Mind Spike gameplay, burst damage, and leans into the instant cast output, which further goes to improve your overall mobility. I'm also very excited to explore the new survivability tools provided in the class tree, as Shadow finally embraces its original priest identity. Havoc Demon Hunter has seen some of the biggest playstyle improvements in Dragonflight, with the return of the glaive-focused gameplay from the expansion of Legion, turning a simple ability that you rarely consider using in combat situations into a powerful slicing range attack. Havoc can also embrace Chaos, turning all magic effects into raw damage that get bolstered by your mastery, becoming a spellblade of sorts, weaving magic and glaives together, or becoming the ultimate hunter, focusing on making your critical strikes extremely effective as you develop better knowledge of the enemy to strike at their weak points. One of the most unique healers that I've ever enjoyed playing is the Mistweaver Monk, a class that blends combat and healing into a playstyle called Fistweaving. And as someone who's made a melee class for a very long time, Mistweaver was really easy to get into. In Dragonflight, this blend of damage and healing has become a lot easier. Combat abilities directly heal nearby allies, and the greater you fight, the more potent your healing mists become. As Mistweavers gain access to interrupts, local group buffs, and greater damage output, hopefully more players will notice their potential. And with the right tuning numbers, hopefully we'll see more of them in Dragonflight. Easily, one of the classes that I'm the most excited about is the newest edition of the Evoker, starting with the unique racial ability. Evokers get access to Soar, which is like a limited version of dragon riding, as they spread their wings in the old world zones to get around much faster than normal flying mounts would. The empowerment mechanic that certain spells use allows for deliberate gameplay decisions, turning certain spells into powerful healing over time effects and others into explosive immediate fiery bursts. The healing spec is like a mix of druid and shaman, fusing healing over time effects of the green Dragonflight while reversing your allies' wounds and delaying damage with the power of the bronze, which I found truly unique. The damage spec is like a mage of sorts, weaving Crimson Fire and Spellfrost into powerful blasts and explosions, able to modify simple spells to suit all types of combat encounters, making Evokers feel like a reliable class choice. Enhancement Shamans recently took a tumble in Dragonflight pre-patch, as the entire spec got gutted by 25% of all damage done, which is a very noticeable change when I got to play my Shaman earlier in dungeons. Even then, Enhanced Shaman still holds my interest heading into Dragonflight. I continue to be impressed with the Shaman class tree, which offers group utility buffs through so many totems, great, exciting mobility options, and even better universal utility. I enjoy how Enhanced Shaman specifically can modify Ghost Wolves to suit a caster magic playstyle, or bolster physical damage and improve cleave capabilities. And the spec sees an enhanced AoE output, which benefits them greatly in dungeon and raid situations. Elemental Shaman has also been incredibly fun to play in the Dragonflight pre-patch, weaving lightning and lava, sundering the ground underneath your foes to create incredibly powerful primal combinations. I was ready to potentially give up the Rogue in search of a new class heading into the next expansion, but Rogues have gained so many fun gameplay options in Dragonflight, making it difficult for me to outright abandon my main for so many years. Outlaw gains even more agency going forward, focused on storing up charges of pistol shots and wait until the right opportunity to unleash a barrage upon your foes. Or embrace the shadows with an ambush focused build, fueled by their newly found kit of Shadowlands. Assassination can rip carnage into dungeon groups more easily as it spreads its bleeds into multiple victims, and coats its weapons with powerful toxins that greatly amplify the burst window effectiveness. Subtlety can become the master of shadows, drawing great power from an intricate dance of death, and opens itself for even more sustained and damage over time gameplay opportunities. Finally, I can't end this video off without mentioning the class of Warrior, as Fury continues to fuel you with a fast-paced, adrenaline-inducing carpal tunnel gameplay, with incredibly powerful quick burst combinations. Arms Warrior is a slower but a more methodical alternative, bleeding foes over time to create a better sustained output, and finish all the foes with precision as you shatter their defenses. The class kit is full of utility, like Spell Reflect, which at times is a very underrated ability, but extremely useful against certain key spells and abilities. Or Berserker Shout to free your allies from incapacitation effects, which is niche, but is quite useful in some of the newer Dragonflight instances. Shockwave and Spear help you control entire crowds in dungeons, and Warriors gain improved survivability through defensive stance, passive healing opportunities, and bitter immunity. And for now, that's going to be the full list of class specs that I'm very excited to pick up as soon as the Dragonflight officially launches. Currently, I plan to spend the very first few weeks of the expansion leveling as many characters as I possibly can, so that I can dive into all of these various playstyles as early as possible, and hopefully get to showcase some of the more powerful builds to all of you guys during the first season of the new expansion. But otherwise, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you possibly considering any of the classes mentioned on today's list as a potential main or an alt going forward? Have you even decided on mains and alts in Dragonflight? And if you have, which class specs are you currently considering? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single live stream and video, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video, or discuss with the other members of the community what you think about the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.